drug delivery system. I hope it is quite a few years already in the market, in the pharmaceutical market. But I will give some information, some data related to this. Madam, we can go for the next slide. I mean to say the introduction part, yes. Most of my information I will be sharing by discussing with you all. The presentation part will be very few and the graphical part mainly. Coming to the introduction part, the nano drug application areas, as all of us know, it is for like 6-7 therapeutic segments. One is in the drug delivery aspect. Second is drug and therapies. The third is in vivo imaging, in vitro diagnostics, the biomaterials, and the active implants. This will be covered in the introductory part. Then we'll cover some aspect of African market, like me being a part of African pharmaceutical market here. I will give some light on the African market. Then we'll just having some information on the global market, how it is this new technology is playing a major role in affecting the global pharmaceutical market in various therapeutic areas. So we'll start one by one. Just let me just start with the graphical image. Unfortunately, it is not part of my slide, but I'm just telling from my note. The global market for the nanoparticles in the biotechnology and the pharmaceuticals, when we see in 2013, it was touching 20,000 figure. 2014, it reached 30,000. But when you see the 2019 figure, it is totally dramatically a different figure of 75 to 80,000. When I see this 75 to 80,000 figure touching in 5 years from 14 to 19, the CAGR, that is the compound the compound growth of annual growth rate of 22%, almost 22% when it is reaching 2019. So you can see the application part of this in the commercialized business. 22% is a very huge change when we see from 2014 to 2019. So this implies the importance of this new technology of delivery system. Now coming to the nanomedicines, which is accounting for almost 5% of the nanotech research publications worldwide. 5%, when I tell it seems a small figure, but when you take the total figure and 5% of that, it is a big number. So the dominant research field in nanomedicines, I will mention few. Of course, You must have come across all these segments, but when it comes to like the figure wise, let me just mention few. The drug delivery aspect is contributing 76% of the scientific publications. In vitro diagnostic is contributing 11%. In that, when you see the European aspect and American aspect, the European aspect accounting for 36% of all the nano medicine publications. The US is contributing 32% of the publications. Asia Pacific also is not very far behind. Asia Pacific is contributing 18% of the total nano new publications. Now coming to one very interesting figure. Madam, just for surety, in case my voice is sometimes broken because of the poor tele network here, please advise me. I'll continue once again.
No, sir. Now it's smooth only. So just continue.
Smooth. Thank you. So let me give you a very good figure, which is expected for 2027. I mean to say, like the futuristic aspect of nanotechnology. It is reaching 164.1 billion USD by 2227. So it's a huge figure. So from this, my intention of telling this figure is, you can imagine the scope, the future aspect of this new drug delivery system. I mean to say the nanotechnology delivery system. Coming to the pandemic of COVID-19 crisis in the global market, though it was on a very low side, then also the US market in nano drug delivery system was 47.5 billion in 2020. So of course it is quite a huge figure, even though affected by the pandemic COVID-19. The growing rate, if you see, it is coming almost 19.4, the compound annual growth rate of 19.4%, which is expected from the period 2020 to 2027. Quite promising figure, I can see. In US, it's 12.8 billion currently, whereas in China, they're expecting 38.8 billion USD by 2027. So the purpose of telling these figures are like from this figure we can just have an idea what is the futuristic business scope. I mean to say, when I say business, it is for the betterment of the public, how the application been utilized for the public uses. Coming to the pure commercialization aspect of this new technology, in when we see USA market, it is contributing almost like 50% of the world market of nanomedicine. Mostly I will be covering the commercial aspect only. Very few scientific things will be described, because all of us, like for last 4 days, we are all occupied with all the scientific details of nanotechnology, various applications. So I will just touch the few commercial aspect in the terms of the commercialized figures and contribution of different market shares. While USA is contributing 50% of the worldwide market of nano medicines, the European Union countries, they are contributing 35. And when I say who are the pharmaceutical companies who are very active in this nanomedicine manufacturing, there are almost not less than 200 pharmaceutical companies. So you can imagine, like when 200 pharmaceutical companies, they are busy on commercialization of this technology. So we can see like there is a very big, very good scope of this technology application in the coming days. Companies they are involved in the manufacturing of this nanomedicine. Coming to this drug delivery system, as all of us know, are developed to increase this delivery system is mainly developed to increase the bioavailability, increase the pharmacokinetics of the therapeutics. I'll give a few examples which are these days used in various commercialized segments. One is the liposomes, of course, can be used in the virosomes, the polymer nanoparticles, the nano suspensions, and the fourth is the polymer therapeutics. So these are the various areas where we have a very good scope in the coming days for the application part. When it comes to the in vivo imaging segment, as all of us know, nanoparticle contrast agent for the machineries of MRI and ultrasound is applicable in this area. In vitro diagnostics, coming to the in vitro diagnostics, the applications are in nanotubes, the nanowires, and the cantilevers. Mainly the aspect of usage is in Alzheimer's plaques. When you see the biomaterials, the medical implants are affected by these biomaterials. The nanocomposite material used in the dental fillers, the nano hydroxypeptide for implant of coatings. You can also say for the bone substitutes. So these are the various areas where the biomaterials are being positively influenced by the nano drug delivery systems. Coming to the active implants, the particle materials improve the electrode surface and bioavailability of device housings. Me being touching various commercialized aspect, I'm not going deep into the scientific strategies behind this. For example, when you come to the active implants, the magnetic nanoparticle based coatings that make the medical implants safe for use with MRI imaging mostly. So we'll go for now nano drugs. How is the nano drug market? I mean to say the nano medicine market. It is not started recently. It started like over a decade ago. Some of the nano drugs, as all of us know, become the best seller in their specific segments. So coming to the various segments, we can say like the oncology segment, the CNS diseases, cardiovascular as well. Then various infection control areas as. So as I mentioned, these 4 segments are mostly affected, I mean to say like getting the benefit of this new drug delivery system. It covers mostly these 4 sectors: the oncology sector, the CNS, the CVD, and infectious. When it comes to the cancer, it is mostly like the molecules Abraxane, Deposiv, Oncospar, Doxil, Neulasta. When I'm saying these are mostly the market leader brands in US market and European market. Coming to the CNS, mostly it is taking care of diseases like Alzheimer's disease, stroke, of course. The products being involved are Tisabri, Copazone, Diprivan. It is expected this CNS sector is expected to reach 16% over the coming 5 years. When we say the nanomedicine total contribution, the CNS will take almost 16% of this. Coming to the autoimmune related sector, also it is getting a good benefit from various nano drugs. Remicade and Humira are both drugs doing very good on this segment. The pharmaceutical company engaged in this is Enjon, who is working vigorously on the new product development. And if you see the new product development, it is growing at a CAGR rate of 15%. Coming to the nanocrystalline silver for topically in wound infections is also not very far behind. The companies which are engaged on this are Biosant, Nanobio. Mostly US is the market leader for this segment. As I told you, coming to the market value of nano drugs is almost like touching 15.8 billion in last 5 years. I mean to say like if you say on an annual basis, average is almost 15.8 billion USD. Whereas in last year, it was like 44.5 billion. So when we compare between 2014 and 2019, you can see the big difference, 15.8 billion, and coming to 19 and 20, it touched like 44.5 billion. So if you see the CAGR rate of growth is 23%, quite a very huge figure of growth. Madam Bandana, shall we skip some of the slides and go to the African market before going to the global scenario? I would touch some of the aspect of African market. It
Okay,
is
sir.
almost like
I'm moving the slides.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes, please, yeah, keep here. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Coming to the African market, as all of us know, the African market is scientifically not that much updated when it compares to European and American market, or for example, Asian Pacific markets, but they are also not far behind. A lot of new molecules, new technology are being now followed and well followed, I can say, and been implemented in various African market as well. When it comes to African market, it is controlled by various I can say the local country-wise strategies, not Africa as a whole. So African Union, like as all of us know, the headquarters is situated in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. Being the African Union headquarters, this plays a very important aspect of the strategizing various policies on health as well as the non-health sectors. So the African Union's agenda for 2023 targets mainly the sustainability development goals. When we see the SDGs, it is mostly like healthcare related, and they have identified the nanotechnology as the 6 priority areas of his science and technology innovation strategies. This is a very big decision been taken recently. They have chosen, the African Union has identified nanotechnology as one of the very 6 priority areas of his strategy for Africa 2024. We can go to the Next slide, madam. When it comes to African continent, the 10 applications which are identified for this application of nanotechnology
It's 1 o'clock.
are energy storage, production, conversion, agriculture productivity enhancement, water treatment, of course, then drug delivery system as usual, then in food processing and storage application, air pollution to control the air pollution aspect, construction area, of course, is a very big booming area here, health monitoring, and pest control, of course. So these are the various areas, the 10 priority sectors been identified where the African Union is planning to use this nanotechnology on a priority. Of course, if we see like the new drug delivery system number 5 is always there. I won't touch much aspect of various sectors as I named this energy and agriculture sectors, mostly because won't be that much affecting the pharmaceutical sector. So I'll mostly tell about the pharmaceutical sectors. African market is always been influenced by the American and European, of course, the Asia Pacific pharmaceutical sector, directly or indirectly. The manufacturing belt or manufacturing capacity of African countries is still on a lower side. So that is how, like the other markets, they're regularly in like helping the African pharmaceutical countries markets directly or indirectly through various the programs and projects. We can go to the next slide, madam. Next and next. Yes, yes, yeah, the previous one. Yes, thank you. Coming to the disease diagnostics and the screening, which has been identified here in Africa for various applications on the nanotechnology, will be the nanoliter systems, the nano sensor arrays, and the carbon nanotubes, the quantum dots for the disease diagnosis, the magnetic nanoparticles as nanosensors also are identified. Coming to the delivery systems, the formulations which we expect is nanocapsules, the liposomes, the dendrimers, the buckyballs, and the nano biomagnets, which are of course like sustained drug delivery systems having the effect. Food processing storage, as I mentioned before, also been targeted to take care of using this technology, the new technology. Next one, madam. Next. Of course, air pollution and all the things have been affected. Coming to the various markets, South Africa is always ahead in the technology when we compare to other African countries. So it is like launched the National Nanotechnology Strategy with a view to facilitating the establishment of characterization of centers, creating research and innovation networks, strengthening the human capacity, and launching the flagship projects, of course. The North African countries also not behind, as it is directly involved with the European markets. Next one, madam. Next. Yes, thank you. When it comes to the Mena regions, I mean to say, which are near to the Gulf, the Middle East, countries like Egypt and Morocco, Algeria. So Egypt's Nanotechnology Center actually established quite some years ago, 2008, and supports the industrial research with aim of strengthening the national economy. 47 centers are being used, focused primary and developing human capital, facilitating the application of nanotechnology in all sectors that are relevant to the economic development of Egypt. So when we come to the pharmaceutical establishment of Egypt and MENA region, they are at par with the European market. When you see the technology-wise and the potential-wise, they are well ahead of other African countries. Various universities also, of course, involved on this technology development. Very chronic diseases like tuberculosis, the nano-enabled drug for this treatment of tuberculosis, of course, been done as a pilot project of various universities in the African countries. Egypt playing a very, really very big role in implementation of this nanotechnology to enhance the agricultural sector and the food industry by changing the way in which the things are produced, processed, packaged, transported, and consumed. Next slide, madam, we can go to the next slide. So as I was mentioning, Egypt is using this nanotechnology to enhance the agricultural sector, the food industry, by changing the way in which the crops, the food are processed, produced, packaged, transported, and consumed till the end user. When it comes to still the oil and gas industry, it is also not very far behind. It is also applying nanotechnology in the oil gas industry to meet the increasing demand for hydrocarbon products, ensure that hydrocarbon operations and environmentally friendly. So I mean to say, like telling all these things is not only the technology used in pharmaceuticals, it is also when it comes to the African aspect, African continent aspect, it is also used for various environmentally projects, friendly projects. Next one, madam. Yes, thank you. Coming to countries like Zimbabwe, I'm particularly mentioning the name of the countries because these are the countries involved in particular projects related to nanotechnology. May not be exactly into pharmaceuticals, but is accessory areas. Zimbabwe is also not behind on this. It has got a national science, technology, and innovation policy in 2012. quite some time before, with the aim of promoting the use of emerging technology, including the nanotechnology, for national development. Zimbabwe launched its first nanotechnology center through a partnership between the government and the State University of New York, working with local universities. Was followed by the release of nanotechnology statement with the 4th priority areas of the application. And the various areas where it is seeking the application is water purification, energy generation, drug production, mineral beneficiation. Of course, it is affecting the economy to accelerate the economy of the market. So these are the various areas in addition to the drug production where nanotechnology is being planned for various African countries. Coming to my place where I am based, Ethiopia is also, next slide, madam. Thank you. Ethiopia is also not far behind on this. Ethiopia is investing in nanotechnology to ensure the rapid advancement of its agricultural and energy sector, its biotechnology manufacturing industries as well. Because of some challenges, the program is still not implemented 100%, as all of us knows. But various universities are engaged on postgraduate courses on nanotechnology and encouraging the students who are really, or the research scholars who are really interested to work on this sector. The Nigerian government also established a national steering committee on the development of nanotechnology. That committee comprises the experts and stakeholders from the market as well. We'll skip some of the slides, madam. We can go after 2-3 slides. Next. Next, yes. Yeah, this one, the previous one. Yes, thank you. Of course, when it comes to, these are the various African countries I name who are really on the forefront of implementing the nanotechnology as a drug delivery or as in other accessory sectors. But as we know that still like a lot of things to be done, a lot of things support to be done by the other countries like from US and Europe, Asia Pacific, for African countries to move ahead on the right implementation of this sector. Without that, only if we expect African countries to come up with some implementation may not be right. We need to work as a team with African countries to support each other and go ahead with this new technology and its implementation in the commercialized aspects. We'll go to the next third slide. Please keep 2 slide next one. Yes. So now, as we mentioned, the scope of nanotechnology in African aspect, as per the last point which I am going to touch is coming to the global market as a whole, how nanotechnology is affecting and helping the global market to flourish. It has mainly the four aspects when we see the scope of nanotechnology. Mostly we'll discuss on the pharmaceutical. Of course, the first one is pharmaceutical in medicine. Of course, other sectors are also not behind, like food and cosmetics, environmental health, technology, and other industries, accessory industries. Here I'll give some of the figures which are really a part of a global scenario when it comes to nano drug delivery system. Nanotechnology drug delivery market is as expected to be in 2027 $182.3 billion USD. So it's a huge market scope, I can say. The future aspect of this is quite promising, and it is increasing at a rate of 19.9% compound annual growth rate. When we see, it is increasing almost like 19.9%. Now, what are the challenges we are facing in various therapeutic sector? Why nanotechnology is very much important these days is the cardiovascular diseases death is over 17.9 million per year as per the WHO figure. 17.9 million per year, the CVD death rate. So it's a huge challenge for all of us. Whereas nanotechnology is going to play a very major role. Since 1995, around 50 nano pharmaceuticals have received FDA approval, and they're available for the clinical uses. So 1995, if we see, 50 nano pharmaceuticals have already been received the positive note from FDA for its clinical uses. In oncology, when it comes to oncology, over 20%, this is part of global market I am talking about. In oncology, over 20% of the therapeutic nanoparticles already in the clinics and under clinical evaluation. Quite huge figure, I can say. Oncology, when it comes to oncology, 20%. As we all are going through this COVID-19 pandemic, of course, it has compelled for the advanced solution to be explored by the nanotechnology. Of course, from all other sectors, we are getting the help, but nanotechnology has a very big role to play for this pandemic as well. Nanoparticles really perform an essential role of different stages of disease pathogenesis, their inhibition potential, the membrane fusion during the viral entry, and infected cell protein fusion. This one I am telling on the context of COVID-19. Let me give some few nano markets and how it has been bifurcated into various sectors. So it's been bifurcated into, I can say, like 4 or 5 major sectors. One is nanoparticles, which US market is expecting 48.1 billion by the year 2027. 48.1 billion only for nanoparticles. Other sectors like liposomes, the nanocrystals, the micelles, others of course is there. When we make the segmentation of the total global market on the context of nanotech products, we can segmentize it into 4 sectors. One is first is North American market, comprising of USA, Canada, rest of America. Number 2, Europe market, which comprises of Germany, UK, Italy, France, Spain, and the rest of Europe. The third segment is Asia Pacific, comprising of China, the major players like Japan, India, of course, Australia, South Korea, rest of Asia. Of course, the number 4 is also quite huge sector, the rest of the world, other than North America, Europe, and Asia Pacific. As all of us know, the North America is really dominating this sector. When we say all these 4 sectors, out of that, North America is dominating this sector with 18.9 billion USD in 2019. The contribution of North American sector is 18.9 billion USD in 19. Asia Pacific as well dominating when it comes to the compound annual growth rate of 22.5%. Quite huge growth, 22.5%. I'll just name few pharmaceutical industries who are really contributing for this global pharmaceutical market on specifically this nanotech products. They're quite few in number, but quite promising volume-wise. They are contributing to this market. Camaros AB, Taiwan Liposome, Novartis, of course, Nanobiotics, Nanocarrier Co Limited, Bayer, of course, Selecta Biosciences, Pfizer, Star Pharma Holding, of course, Merck is there. So these are the major players who are really contributing a lot to this commercialization aspect of pharmaceutical sector globally. So these are the things which I feel like very few aspects of commercialization of this new technology, the nano drug delivery system. Of course, like the various figures which I mentioned can be shared in the coming days with our participants. So these are the few information could be gathered on the global market when it comes to nanotechnology aspects.